Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Report, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
I'm Carol Massar, along with Tim Stanovic. Let's get to some stocks on the move on this Thursday. With us is Bloomberg News senior reporter and deputy team leader for U.S. Equities, Jess Menton. And Jess, we are seeing IPOs and another one today.
It is, and it's really hot on this, especially we're keeping a lot of our reporters busy with Bailey Lipschultz, our key IPO reporter, as well as Georgie McKay on our equities team. So looking at FIGR Technology, the ticker is FIGR. So this is the latest tech company to benefit from investors' newfound appetite, like Carol was talking about, for the IPO space. So this company is actually a blockchain lender. And if you're looking at what happened with today's trade, so it actually began trading on the NASDAQ under that ticker, and it opened at $36. While it's pulled back slightly from that, it's currently trading around $31.50. That's still above where it IPO'd at $25. So that actually gives it a figure around raising around $787 million here. And it really joins this growing list of unicorns, which is really important context when we think about the IPO market the last few years. But then looking ahead and what it means here. So this buy now, pay later lending company Klarna actually made its stock debut just yesterday. So it rose nearly 15% from its IPO price. Then you also have other stablecoin providers like Circle earlier this year, as well as design software platform Figma. So you'd really have a lot of momentum going right now as far as what's going on in that type of space, and particularly in the crypto area as well.
Yeah, Gemini, the Winklevoss crypto exchange. Then outside of crypto, even more IPOs on the horizon. BlackRock Coffee, Legence, and then Via, the rideshare app. Expected IPO too. So
we have a busy few weeks this week as well. And then, of course, actually, if you put in context for this week, this is the busiest week for IPOs since ARM in 2023. Wow. So we have StubHub actually coming next week. So that's the ticket resale company.
Unbelievable. But, you've got a market that's hitting records, right?
Right.
So if you want to introduce a new issue, this is probably the market
Good sign
to do
for
it
the
in.
economy, too.
Yeah. Centene is another one that you're watching,
yes,
and that's moving.
The ticker is CNC. So this is a health insurer. It was the top performer in the S&P 500 earlier today. If you were looking at the MOV function, now it's in the top 3 behind Synopsys and Warner Brothers. But it actually reaffirmed its annual earnings outlook that it actually had already issued in July. So it did reaffirm that. It also gave positive views on Medicare star ratings, and it said it expects cost improvements in its Medicaid business. If you look at some of its peers like Molina Healthcare, MOH is the ticker on that, up 6%. Also, Elevance Health is up 2.6% as well. So you're seeing its peers moving. But I want to put in context, if you look at year to date through yesterday's close for Centene, its stock had dropped nearly 50% this year. So still has a long way to go. If you look on the sell side, the A&R function in the terminal, 5 buys, 15 holds, 1 sell. Barclays strategist Andrew Mock, he actually has an equal weight rating on the stock. He was talking about how that Medicare update was better than feared, with the company seeing medical cost improvement in the second half of the year. So you're seeing some bright spots there, but still really tough year when you're looking at where that year-to-date performance was before today's gains.
Okay, well, not a tough year for Oracle.
No.
This was a big one yesterday.
It was.
And today, maybe giving up some of those gains.
ORCL's the ticker, down a little over 6% right now. So on pace for its worst day since April 4th from earlier this year. So you were just alluding to, Tim, the massive run that we saw in this stock yesterday. So it had a really historic rally. It actually was up 36% on Wednesday. So that was its best day since 1992. So the context there, it had reported this stellar cloud demand numbers. And then the Wall Street Journal on top of that yesterday also had reported that Oracle had struck a $300 billion deal with OpenAI. But if you're looking today, actually JP Morgan, the derivatives desk, they actually had been crunching numbers on the retail investor side of things. So you actually saw retail investors selling aggressively into Oracle's rally yesterday after buying those shares on Monday and Tuesday. So you have a bit of a retail story there. And then, of course, if you look beyond that, as well as some of the other peers that were outperforming yesterday too, Broadcom, AVGO is the ticker symbol. That stock's also down more than 2% today. That had been among some of the big gainers yesterday. And then, of course, I have to point out Vistra, VST, is down more than 2% as well. That's tied to the data centers. That had been jumping yesterday, as well as AMD, Advanced Micro Devices. But both of those stocks are also lower on the back of this, after a lot of them had a tremendous run yesterday.
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.